Hello, my name is Keyack, and in this video today, I'm going to showcase how to manually apply a cut here. For instance, I have this eave strut, and then I've got the jamb, and MBS SlideRule just missed this cut here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by getting into a 2D elevation view so I can apply a fitting at the end of this jamb. So what I'll do is I'll select on the jamb, right click, and I will say Create View, Default Views of Part. That gives me 4 basic views here. Now, if when you create those views, only one of them gets maximized and shown, what's happening is you just need to come up here to the upper right hand corner and press this Restore Down button so that way it shows you those 4 views. Now, I can see here that this is the view that I'm particularly looking for, and so I actually might go back and maximize that so I can see it a little bit more clearly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to the Edit tab at the top, and then I'm going to choose the Fit Part End command. Now what's great about this is that when I choose this option, it's actually really easy to use, and it's going to just either lengthen or shorten the part and do skewed cuts at the end of this, this beam here for this jamb. Now at the lower left it says pick the part to be fitted. Well, I'm in transparent mode, so I just need to get towards the edge of the material. I'm going to go ahead and pick on the jamb. Then it says pick the first point on the cutting line. Well, what I want to do is I want to just get in here exactly where that cap plate is hitting or intersecting on this. So I'll go from right there, and then I'll go down across here to just basically follow that cap plate. And now when I put that in, you'll see that the fitting is applied and that the jamb has been now cut at that skewed angle underneath the cap plate. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back up here and restore my views. I'll close down these 4 temporary views, and I can see here in the 3D model that the cut has been made. And what ends up happening is it creates this fitting plane that you'll see here. And sometimes with trainees, just because of the color, it's a sort of a puke green. So I call it the puke plane, just so that way they remember it. But this fitting plane here, when I select on it, you'll see that it's this long plane. And if I actually delete this out by pressing delete on my keyboard, you'll see that it will actually bring the material back to how it was. So, once you kind of put this cut in, you can actually manipulate it, delete it out. And these grip points are actually movable. So if you select on them, and you want to stretch the piece back further, you can either modify one of the particular grip points, or you can move the entire plane itself and it'll adjust the cut on the piece. Now, how do we get this cut over to some of these other pieces here? So I've got, essentially this reversed jamb on the other side of the opening. Now, let me show you what happens here. Let me try to do a copy. And I'm going to go right here, and maybe I'll go from, let's do the midpoints of this. I'll just say, well, no, actually, I'll show you why I don't want to do that because it's not cut on the other side. So I'll just say nearest, and I'm going to go exactly over to basically the other side here, and I'll go perpendicular. And sometimes the fitting may not copy across to the other object if it's rotated around 180 degrees, or if the part is a different profile. So that's something you just kind of have to keep an eye on, that sometimes copies won't necessarily work if the destination object is too different compared to the original object. But this worked out pretty good. Now what I can do is I can just simply grab both of these fitting planes, and it's very easy for me to just quickly copy these to the rest of the members. Now, rather than me zooming in tight like I did before, I can just right click and say copy. I'm going to come down here to the lower right hand corner on my snapping toolbar, and I'm just going to turn off basically the snap to geometry lines and points. Now watch this. What happens is when I do that and I hover and I'm zoomed out and I hover near like kind of the bottom of one of these jambs, notice that it goes right to essentially the end point of that jamb. So if I do that there, then just go here, and then I'll do it one more time here at the end. I don't have to be zoomed in to get a very fine location to snap to, but you'll see that everything copies across nicely and uniformly to all of my other jambs. So there you go, just a quick exercise in how to manually clean up something and then quickly copy those cuts or that work that you did on one area to repetitive or similar areas throughout the model. For additional training and setup and configuration of MBS SlideRule with Tekla structures, please reach out to me at my contact information shown, and I'd be glad to help.